Well, we were texting earlier today, Michael, and you said we can talk about quarterback fun in the
Yeah.
portal. And I see that this was, I mean, look at this. Here we go in the chat. There's one, there's another. There's another. A lot of
Yeah.
questions about quarterback. Spartan Old Liberty or Tulane quarterback. Jan is saying, who's our quarterback next year? There's a bunch of things that I didn't star or Director Ben didn't star about Castellanos. Just what is the latest in the transfer portal developments at quarterback for Florida State? What you've been covering?
Yeah, I feel it's very. It seems very clear that Thomas Castellanos is the guy that I think they're honed in on. That's the gist I've got from different people. I know Caden Salters was one there. I just didn't, when I did the checking, I didn't feel like the fit was connecting for whatever reasons. I don't want to get into that, but just stuff that wasn't measuring up. Whereas with Thomas, there was a previous connection. Gus has coached him. He's probably also worked with Herb Hand, or at least knows him, I would think. And so I think everything kind of checks off. I mean, a lot of people might not know this, but Thomas out of high school really wanted to go to FSU. That was kind of his, his dream school. When we talked, played at Ware County, and FSU liked him as more of an athlete at that time. Obviously, he showed some things on kind of like Ira did with the CJ Campbell, kind of bet on himself as a quarterback, where a lot of schools, liked him as an athlete. And I think the focus would be on Thomas. I think I got people revved up when I mentioned, what if DJ decides to come back? If there's a 6 year or something, and obviously people have different opinions of that. Yeah, for me, if that were to happen, I'm not hating it, to be honest. If you get Thomas and him, because they're different you need diversity in that quarterback room. And I know everyone's there's certain people that are like, it's all DJ's fault of what happened last year. Where for me, it's more everything around DJ. So when I look at that, not to say that DJ didn't have his issues of stuff that he could have done better, but I think overall, Thomas seems to be the focus for me, and I think they're likely that's the guy they're probably going to land. You mentioned all the interviews on the coaches on Wednesday, but there's another thing important Wednesday is Thomas is visiting. So Thomas will be visiting that morning, or in that day, full day, and so we're going to be out there, and I'll certainly we'll see we catch up with him, but it's going to be interesting, and I just have a feeling, and this isn't based on intel, that this one could go, pretty quickly if everything checks off and the visit goes the way they want because of the connectability with each other. And like I said, I know there's people that are excited about Thomas, and I know there's people that are like, man, that guy struggles throwing the ball as far as stuff like that. But overall, I would really like the addition personally, and that's just me watching and knowing what FSU's weaknesses are as far as what I see on the field, how he would not elevate that, but just he brings a different aspect to that can help that offense.
Yeah, especially, if your offensive line is going to get better but not great, you definitely want somebody who can get on the move. And that's the
Hmm.
way Gus runs his offense. Michael, is Thomas Castellanos, and I see somebody asking a question in the chat, is that how you pronounce it? Is it Castellanos? It's not like Nick Castellanos. I
Yeah.
swear, every play-by-play guy in the country says Castellanos. I
Yes.
speak Spanish. I don't speak it fluently, but I agree. That you would think it's Castellanos. Um, you need a mobile quarterback, and this is the way Gus runs the system. So you got to go all in with the way your offensive coordinator
Yeah.
designs his offenses, and he fits it to a T. I mean, Nick Marshall for Auburn was a converted defensive back, and they got to the precipice of winning a national championship with a small guy with a decent arm who could run and was tough. I mean, it seems like that would be the formula here.
Yeah, and the thing is too, there was a kind of a known quarterback that played at FSU that's pretty popular here that is got similar traits to what Thomas has, and that
Mhm.
is Jordan Travis. When he got here, man, I would sit in the stands, guys, and I would listen to recruits, and I'm not going to say they are because I'm going to keep them safe, but they were like, man, this guy is terrible, like really bad, and so the and that's what I always tell people, like whether you're watching them from another school or you're watching them with what they've done at FSU, like they're going to be a different player than what you saw at that school. Just because they were really good at another school doesn't mean they're going to be really good at your school. So I think a lot of people lock into that mode that's going to happen. And I just think, like, if you look at the skills, the ability to keep plays alive, the understanding of how to run, and certainly, and we saw with Jordan Travis, like the development of the passing they fixed that in almost a year. It was like, I remember going into that LSU game in the Superdome, and it was like, I don't know what I'm going to see, and then he comes out there and just tears it up. So I'm saying, like, you got to go with the fit that everyone's comfortable with. Player, coach, whatever. And I think this one just checks off the ones that you want. I mean, I understand the struggles as far as in inconsistency as far as throwing the ball, but I think overall, when you look at the fit and the comfort for both sides, this one just makes too much sense.
Forgive me if I don't pronounce this right, but Kajukenbo. All right, there we go. Do we have a guess as to how many Nebraska? Well, Michael, I was gearing up for that for like 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, how am I going to say it? Do we have a guess as to how many Nebraska players might come with the staff hires? Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate this part of it, and this list is going to continue to build. That's why I don't feel bad sharing what the subscribers have access to on the PRB. There it is. Look at this. It's a nice little chart, puts together all of these particular players, and you can see there 3 Nebraska players figured to be at least visiting Florida State next week. Yeah. Michael, what say you? Do you think the number's around 3? Could it be more? Nebraska and Florida State, obvious ties with the new defensive coaching hires.
I'd say 4 for now. I think around that 4 mark. I said Jackson earlier. James Williams. Sorry, hope his mom wasn't watching. But James Williams, Prince Swill is another one that I feel like I see coming to this class, and then I've already covered Butler, so I think you're getting those guys, and then you have guys like Stephon Thompson, who's a linebacker who seems to really fit there, and then the new target that was covered earlier today, Keandre. I'm drawing a blank, but if you go to the PRB, you'll see it. He's a new guy we added. He's also another edge guy that is on there that I've heard a lot. I was kind of waiting for him to enter. So I think I'm circling around 4, pushing it to 5 maybe, but 4 is probably the number that I'm at right now.
Yeah, Keanu Davis, is that correct?
There you go.
Keanu Davis. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, it's like opening up a phone book and circling people. Like, here they are, here they come.
Guys, I'm good with names, but when you're dealing with new stuff, it's kind of hard to to remember just each one of them. But yeah, that's one that. So I think those 4 that I covered. I think there's I think FSU feels like there's certainly a solid chance that they could pull those. So that's what I would say 4.